Okay, let's dive right in with a wild question. What if a country could rent a nuclear bomb? I know it sounds like something straight out of a movie, but a brand new alliance might have just made it a reality. And in doing so, it's completely redrawn the world's nuclear map.
Yeah, you heard that right. It's a pretty startling question, isn't it? But a recent deal between two, well, let's just say unlikely allies has put this squarely in the realm of possibility.
So here's the deal. On September 17th, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a defense pact. And this isn't just some routine agreement. It's something that fundamentally challenges everything we thought we knew about the rules of nuclear politics. Basically, the core of this new agreement is this: an attack on one is an attack on both. Now, if that sounds familiar, it should. It's a lot like NATO's famous mutual defense clause. But here's the critical, and I mean critical, difference. One of these nations, Pakistan, has about 170 nuclear warheads. So what this does, in effect, is create a nuclear umbrella for Saudi Arabia, courtesy of Pakistan. And this is a huge deal. Why? Because Pakistan developed its weapons outside of all the big international treaties. For them to now formally offer nuclear protection to another country, that's a landmark move. But to really get why this is happening, you have to understand that this didn't come out of nowhere. We need to look back at their long and kind of quiet history together. Right, so while this might seem like it just popped up overnight, this alliance really isn't new at all. Think of it more as making something official that's been a quiet, unspoken agreement for decades. And that unspoken agreement was actually pretty simple and really effective. You could call it a classic money for muscle pact. Saudi Arabia had the cash, the oil, but not a whole lot of military might. Pakistan? Well, it was the exact opposite. And this wasn't just some idea on paper. This relationship was tested and proven time and time again at some really critical moments in history. You can see it right here, from troops on the border in the 60s, to free oil after Pakistan's nuclear tests, to even getting a tour of top-secret nuclear sites. Which brings us to this quote from a former chief of Israeli military intelligence. He basically said what Western intelligence circles have suspected for years, that Saudi money helped pay for Pakistan's bomb from the get-go. Okay, so that raises the big question, right? If this has been the unofficial arrangement for decades, why make it official now? Well, it looks like a whole series of destabilizing events in the region basically forced their hand. I mean, just look at what's been going on. More missile attacks, Iran enriching uranium and kicking out inspectors. The whole region is on edge. For Saudi Arabia, the message was crystal clear. Our neighborhood is getting a lot more dangerous, and we need a much more concrete security guarantee, especially against an increasingly bold Iran. But, this wasn't just about Saudi Arabia's security. This was not a one-way street. When you look at what both countries get out of this deal, you can see exactly why it happened. It really is a perfect win-win situation for both of them. The Saudis get the ultimate protection, nuclear deterrence, without the massive international backlash and sanctions they'd face if they tried to build their own bomb. And for Pakistan, this is a much-needed economic lifeline. And I mean, they really needed it. That lifeline couldn't have come at a better time. Pakistan's economy is in absolute dire straits, made so much worse by those devastating floods that displaced, get this, 25.5 million people. They were actually forced to go to the IMF for a bailout right before this deal was announced. So let's zoom out. What does this all mean for the rest of the world? What are the ripple effects? Because a pact like this doesn't just exist in a vacuum. Its implications for global stability are, well, they're huge. Here's the most crucial takeaway. This deal formally connects two of the most volatile regions on the planet. For the first time, the conflicts of the Middle East are directly linked to the nuclear tensions of South Asia. Think about that. A crisis in one area could now very easily spill over and ignite a crisis in the other. And you can bet other countries are paying attention. This alliance has sent absolute shockwaves through capitals across the region. It's forcing countries like India and Israel to go back to the drawing board and completely rethink their entire strategic playbook. And it's really important to understand this. This isn't just some temporary political decision that could change with the next election. The reports say this was driven by Pakistan's powerful army chief. That means it's a state policy, not a government policy. In other words, this thing is built to last.
So, where do we go from here? Well, Pakistani officials are already hinting that other Middle Eastern countries are interested in getting under their nuclear umbrella too. So, really, the question isn't if this new nuclear club will expand, it's who's going to be next to join.